Hello and welcome to the deep dive spoiler-filled discussion of 2018's Hong Kong film Buyer Beware. In my spoiler-free review of this, I addressed one of the major issues that this movie had was coming up with subplots, branches, and elements of the storyline that it never wound up fleshing out. And more than actually having like a 12-minute long, fully fleshed out discussion about this movie, I really just kind of wanted to hit those bullet points of areas that I really, it left me scratching my head, and it's questions that are, as far as I understand it, unanswered, but I didn't want to include it in a spoiler-free review. So, talking about this more fully and honestly and openly and not worrying about spoilers, what was the point of the tattoo? It didn't seem like it entered into it at all. The villainess, she even looked at it at the end, and nothing really became of it. I mean, I was maybe not necessarily expecting like a Constantine level of weaponry with the tattoo, but something. I mean, it even went so far as him taking a picture of the rune, showing it to the monk, getting the tattoo, the monk saying the tattoo will protect him. It was an entire scene. They cast that monk so that they could have that scene, and it never really got fleshed out. Another one was Charles's friend, the guy that got in on the property and was encountering the burning ghosts. They pointed at the wiring. He looked at it. He opened up the wall. He saw the wiring, saw how terrible it was, said he'd fix it, and everything seemed happy. It seemed like that was a resolution to his subplot branch, but we never really saw him again, and it never really lent itself to the rest of the film. Is that what was going on? Or all these ghosts simply pointing out faults within the establishments themselves, and by getting some contractor work in there, everything will be A-okay? Not really sure there. Another one was the runes themselves, the red squares with the symbols on them, the totems. If those are designed to hold the ghost back, they didn't do a terribly good job. So I guess I was a little confused about the employment of them and how they specifically worked. And lastly, the very ending. He got brought back to the point in which he had a choice and the fork in the road. That really seemed like throwing darts at the board there and just kind of, punk, and then seeing what landed. It seemed like a really weird ending mechanically to have in this film. There was no illusion or setup that would foster having we're going back in time and redoing this kind of thing. I mean, the only other example I can kind of think of off the top of my head is The Devil's Advocate, but even that almost made sense. Basically going back and rewinding to the point where he had a choice to make, and revisiting that honestly, within the context of the storyline and the characters, made way more sense than Buyer Beware. But those are the questions that I have that, as far as I know, are largely unanswered. If you have input on this and you want to weigh in, please leave comments below. I really welcome them, and I would love to read them and engage with them and respond. So that should about do it. That's my deep dive of Buyer Beware. Thank you very much. Look for me tomorrow. I'll have another review.